Okay, are you ready for the roll call?
Ready for the roll call?
Okay. Commissioner Deborah Carter,
Here.
Commissioner Kimberly Sela.
Here.
And if I say your name incorrectly, can you please correct me? Thank you.
It's Sela, thanks.
Thank you, Sela. I'm sorry. Commissioner James Cotter,
Here.
Commissioner Edward James,
Here.
Commissioner Linda Camp,
Here.
Commissioner Risa Rollins. Is it Risa Rollins? Any corrections on that name?
No, she's not. I don't
Thank
see her on the call.
Thank you. Commissioner Ben Samuels.
Here.
Commissioner Jordan Sanders.
Here.
Advisor member Stephanie Leon Streeter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. All else in attendance, can you please state your name and your affiliation with the county or the bi-state? What is?
All right, I'll start. Chuck
Okay.
Stewart, Chief Operating Officer, Metro Transit.
Okay.
Tammy Fulbright, CFO by State Development.
Paul Hample, Regional Relations for Dr. Sam Page.
Brad Kelling, Commander of the Metrolink Unit for Police.
Evan Scott, General Manager of Security by State Development.
Matt McLaughlin, Boards and Commissions Liaison with the County Executive's Office.
Ray Golick, South Area Engineer for St. Louis County Department of Transportation.
I'm Spector, North and West Area Engineer for St. Louis County Department of Transportation.
Ed Zimmerman, by State Development, Marketing Communications.
Associate County Counselor Portia Britt, Office of the County Counselor.
Okay. Is that everyone? Okay.
Tom Curran talked, but I couldn't hear him, so I don't know if he's got an audio problem. I see his face.
Yeah. We can't hear you, Tom. He must be on mute. I can see his lips moving, but I see him also. So he's here. Okay. Anyone else in attendance? Okay, thank you. Next order of business. We are going to table the approval of the minutes for the December meeting. There was a couple of additions that we needed to add to the minutes, so we will present them at the February meeting and approve them at the February meeting. Okay, number 5, reports. St. Louis County Office.
Nothing to report today, Mr. Chair, from County Executive Page's staff.
Okay. Commissioner liaisons, no report. Department of Transportation, Public Works.
I know last month you had asked us to put together a list of places where we put in bus pads this past year. We're still kind of doing our year-end ADA compilation of statistics. So unfortunately, I don't have that information ready today, but we should have something for next month.
Okay. Okay, then the St. Louis County Police Department.
Right now, we are still compiling the end of the year numbers from last year. It looks like When you look at the actual numbers on paper, it looks like crime is up. However, when you dive into it, you just see a lot of proactive activity by the officers and security on the line, enforcing the ordinance violations and the other the laws. So I think we had a very good year as far as first time being down here and seeing the work that they do. So I'll be happy to send those numbers around if you guys want to look at those later as well.
Could you send them around and then also report on them in the next meeting?
Yes.
At least we have time to digest what those numbers are and everything.
Okay.
Thank you. State Development, Metro. Workforce
Okay, well, I will
update.
start, excuse me?
Go ahead.
Sorry. So I will start, I will give the operations report as well as the Colorado update. So, can't find my report. There it is. Okay. So as I've been reporting last few months, we've done some very intense things in terms of increasing our operating personnel, including the $5,000 sign-on bonus, which is being extended until through the first quarter of 2024. We have a new contract with 788, all kind of enhanced training programs, hiring events, rehire program, mentorship. All of those things are paying off, and it's about to pay off as it relates to the service that we are providing. In our current year budget, we have budgeted 635 bus operators, 102 Metrolink operators, and 201 Coloride operators. As of December 31, 23, we have 618 bus drivers, so we're well along the way in achieving our goal for bus operators. In fact, we think we might get more, up to around 650, it's possible, this fiscal year. We're at 86 with Metrolink versus 102, and 128 with Colorado versus 201. So we still have work to do there, as well as we have additional work to do as relates to mechanics. Can't put buses on the street without mechanics. The next area I'd like to report on is ridership. And you have in your packet our operations update for July through November of 2023, this current fiscal year. I've finally caught up with the questions that Tim has been asking me every month. We are showing some interesting numbers as it relates to our ridership. As I'd mentioned previously, in the past 2 years since the pandemic, our ridership has been increasing about 6% a year. But for this current year, it appears that we're pretty much stagnant at this point. Basically flat over last year. Our bus ridership is a little less than 1% down. Our Metrolink ridership is down around 3.5%, it looks like, from the report, but there are some couple explanations for those things. First of all, I think the key thing in terms of bus operations has been our service. Our cutting back on service through most of last year and the year before, changing frequencies, that kind of thing. We had some reliability issues, and I think that has had that impact on our bus boardings during the current year. Metrolink is a similar type situation, but a little different. We have had, again, so as bus goes, so goes Metrolink in terms of ridership. But we are showing a larger decline in Metrolink, but I think some of it may be statistical, it may be data. We had of course, we had a cyber attack a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, which impacted our data collection services, as well as the fact that we had the single car pilot that I think may have depressed ridership a little bit. In addition to that, we've had a problem with our APC infrastructure, which is our automatic passenger counters. You know, we got a lot of old trains out there. And so we've had some issues with those things, the counters. So we're fixing all of those things. We feel that we need to restate some of that data. We're recreating the data from different sources. And in our next report, we will show revised numbers for Metrolink. Any questions, any other questions on ridership before I move on?
I have a question. Sorry, I always have questions on ridership numbers. But I know that Illinois is a smaller percentage of the overall ridership, but what is driving the 7% increase in bus ridership over there compared to the negative 2% increase or negative 2% in Missouri? What do you attribute that to?
Well, one thing that did not happen, we did not reduce service in Illinois. We did to the same degree that we did in Missouri. We kind of protected our Illinois service throughout the pandemic and thereafter. So I think it's kind of been business as usual in Illinois.
So is there anything else though that you think is helping to drive the increase in ridership over there?
I really don't. I really don't. I think we would probably be seeing that same kind of trend in Missouri had it not been for the cutback in service and for our data issues that we're experiencing over here. Because again, in the last couple of years, we've seen a 6% year-over-year increase in bus ridership and Metrolink ridership in the previous 2 years. I think that's just a part of that continuing trend.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So,
can I go back to the workforce update?
Mhm.
I read someplace where you had a lot of people leaving, a lot of drivers leaving before the first payment of the $5,000 bonus. Is that correct, or did I read that correct?
So that was, so that has been the case prior to the new Local 788 contract. We were having lots of attrition. The contract basically stabilized wages and offered some additional benefits that has not only stabilized attrition from the standpoint of existing personnel, but new operators as well. Along with that, we also enhanced we redesigned our training program. We introduced a mentorship programs. So from day one, when a new operator comes in, they have somebody's there for them throughout the entire process. So yes, there were a number that were leaving before they got their payments, but now we're much more successful in retaining them throughout the training process, all the way to getting into the seat.
Thank you.
Can I interrupt to make a request that if you're not speaking, that you put yourselves on mute? Thank you.
Okay. All right. So what does our recent success in terms of increasing manpower, what is that doing for us? Well, one thing, we are doing a service change in January. Traditionally, we do service changes every quarter. The last one was in November. The next one would normally be scheduled for March. Because of the success we've had over the last couple of months in getting and hiring people and getting them through training and making them available to drive, we're doing a service change in January. This will be the most significant improvement in Metro bus service frequency since March of 2021. We're adding service to 17 Metro bus routes, mostly increasing frequency during certain times and cutting wait times in half. I think that's attributed to some of the ridership that we may have lost over the past few months. 8 routes, we will increase frequency from 120 minutes to 60 minutes. 9 routes, we're increasing frequency from 60 minutes to 30 minutes. Other minor scheduling changes, big scheduling changes in North County around the opening of the new highway system and the differences that will cause in terms of our travel. So, over the past 6 months, we've hired 123 bus operators and 88 call ride operators, and more of them in every class are making it through the class and making it to the driver's seat. We've averaged over 80 on the spot job offers at our hiring events. The next hiring event is Saturday, January 13th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Illinois bus facility. Interviews available for mechanics, Metro bus, and call ride operators. Again, we're trying to emphasize mechanics and call ride operators at this time. There will be no significant changes in Metrolink service with this service change. So I think that this is an indication that we are reaching our objectives. We are moving forward with our hiring processes. They are working, and we are, as people become available, we are using them to improve our service in the streets. When we reduce service, we cut back some lines, and then as many as we could, and then we went to the process of cutting running times or increasing running times, adding more time in between buses and that type of thing. So as we bring the system back, that's exactly the same thing we have to do. So we are starting by increasing these frequencies, and in January you will see a significant increase in frequencies on those 17 lines. I have a list of those if anybody's interested, but they're available online on our website. There are no questions about our service change. We'll move to Colorado.
You mentioned a list of routes that's increasing or being added. I think that would be
that question again, please.
The list that you just mentioned about the routes that have been affected or either increased, or what area?
Frequency increases, yes.
What area are those basically in?
They're all over.
Countywide?
They're all over.
Okay.
They're all over, system-wide. Natural Bridge, Shaw, Grand, Lindell, Union, Taylor, St. Louis Avenue, Earth City, Rock Road, Lee, Sarah, Carondelet, Village Square, Bell Fountain, Olive, Hazelwood, plus some adjustments in Florissant, McDonald, Waterford, Ferguson, and Vallis, Northampton.
Maybe if you can get a list of that to the staff, maybe she can send it out to the rest of us. That sounds interesting, something really we like to review. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Other questions on that?
Okay.
All right. Colorado update. So Colorado continues to improve its denial percentages over the last 4 weeks. We've gone from a 17% denial percentage to 4.37% in the week ending last week, January 7th. So again, we are working to improve our call ride service. We're still working on our scheduling software. Our ADA consultant is at work and reporting in weekly. We're still working on the phone system. But I think most importantly, we started our negotiations with Colorado, with our HEU Local 788 Colorado Division. That contract expires at the end of January. We've had 2 sessions on January 4th and 5th, and we have made significant progress toward an agreement on that contract. It will not be before the expiration of the contract, but I would expect it very soon after that. So really encouraged by the meetings that we are having with the union as it relates to Colorado. And again, our objective is to bring them closer, much closer to the wages and benefits that we offer to our bus operators and our Metrolink operators. And I think we can successfully do that. Only other update I have is on the single car pilot, which I think you heard ended. We are just closing off the rear cars in the evenings and certain times. So there will always be 2 cars out there, one being not functional in the evenings and at certain times. So I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
On the single car, would that be to the operator's perception to open that
No,
car?
there's a schedule. There's a schedule.
There's a schedule.
There's a schedule. It starts at 8 o'clock every evening, I think, and a single car all weekend. The operator will have the ability, though, to open up the car if needed. If there's there's an athletic event or something, something goes on a particular evening, we will put that 2-car service back in.
But it'd be to the operator's discretion.
Well, with the help of our dispatchers.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Any additional questions for Mr. Stewart?
And this is Deborah.
Yes, Deborah.
Oh, okay. Is Kim? Is that Kim?
Huh?
Okay.
No, Deborah, it was me, Linda. But go ahead and ask your question, then I'll ask mine.
Thank you. Chuck, this is probably more suited for Toby, but I'm sure you can probably give me a little bit of insight on it. I am someone who appreciates his decision to eliminate advertising on the exterior of buses, but I'm also curious to know how such a big ticket item, i.e. a $2 million in lost revenue, did not have to be presented to the board first?
I'm not touching that one. You might want to ask that a different way, but I'm not touching that.
He ain't touching it.
I think you know what I but
well, the good thing about it, you brought it out first because I was going to wait to finance to ask that. Not the same tone, but that will be a good question. I think that should go to Toby. I think that would be a good one for him. You agree, Deb?
Oh, I really wanted to hear what Chuck had to say.
So I agree with you that I think it was a good move on our part. I think it was appropriate. We are very concerned about our region and the role that we play in it. So from that standpoint, I think it was a great decision.
Oh, I agree with it.
Oh, sorry, Deborah, go ahead.
You know what? I'm fine with your decision. I like it, actually. I just was curious to know, most CEOs have a limit, okay, as far as their power, how much, what they can do without first getting approval from their board. This one was rather large, and so I just wanted some insight on how that works.
Well, let me ask a question before you answer that, Chuck. Is that a decision that will come to our board or to the bi-state board?
I'm talking about the bi-state board.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So I would, and I keep jumping in here when I don't want to.
Okay, that's
But,
fine.
But relatively, I don't think that's such a big ticket item. And Tammy might comment on that.
I guess someone would disagree with you, but okay.
I guess I'll say something.
Hi, sorry. I'm not sure who's talking, but this is Portia Britt from the County Counselor's Office. Before we go too far down this road, I would advise that we should be sticking to topics on the agenda and that specifically relate to matters before this board.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask my question now?
Yeah, Linda.
All I
You
want
can, I
to
just
know
need
is,
to provide that legal advice.
I know that we signed the contract to get the new Metrolink buses. How many years or how long is it going to be down the road before the first Metro cars show up? Does anybody know? I don't know. I would assume it's going to be over a year.
Well, it's gonna be long past a year. I don't really have that at my fingertips. Do you have an idea, Ted? But it's gonna be like 5 years, 10 years before we get them.
It's about
with
5 to
all
10
service.
years.
Yeah, they're building them. It's not like they got them sitting in the car lot just to send them to us. So it'll be a while.
I knew it would be a while. It was just, I didn't know, is it 1 year, 2 years, up to 5 years? Okay.
5 to 10, yeah. Because it's
Okay,
coming in 2
thanks.
tranches, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions for Mr. Stewart? Okay, finance.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? I just want to make sure. Okay, thank you. So I want to walk through the revenue, and this is actually on the November reporting for period ending November 30th. So when you look at our actual to budget, we are down about 25.8 million, and I'm going to walk you through some of the line items there. So as you can see, passenger revenue is down about 1.9 million. So we do know that in the future, our hope and I believe that SPP is going to help us in our collection of revenue. So that will help push those numbers as ridership's going up too. And then when we get to the next line items, really on the sales tax for the city and for the county, you can see that the city is actually up about 2.5 million, but where you see the county down 25 million, I want to explain that a little bit. So when we went to the county for our appropriation this year, we actually adjusted our appropriation amount by 60.5 million. So all year, you're going to see that this line item is going to look strange. It's going to be way below where it should be. And those funds will be, will supplement our needs for operating with the COVID relief money that we currently have up to that 60.5 million. You can see that St. Clair County is running under about 1.6 million, and a lot of that is just timing due to billing. The state and Missouri and Illinois are slightly under by 400,000. Our federal funding is another line item that you're going to see all through this year that looks a little bit strange. And the reason for that is when we went through our budget process for 24, we didn't know we were going to draw all the funds in. So we budgeted that we'd be bringing money in. We brought all that funding in last year. So all year, this is going to look a little bit strange on this line item because it's going to look like we're way under. So right now it's showing 4.7. And then if you go to the bottom, you'll see our interest income is up by about 5.3. So overall, we are at revenue of 117.7 million. And then moving on to expense, for wages and benefits, as Chuck said, we've almost replaced all of our operators that we're looking for on the bus side. So we just have a small amount that we are actually favorable of 400,000. Then the other big line items that I want to talk about really are related to services. material supplies. For services, we look like we're under budget about 5 million, and I do believe that's partially related to timing. Same way with our parts and materials, we may be still having some issues in getting some of our supplies in. And so we had total expenses of 132.5 million for a net loss of 14.8 million. But as I mentioned, part of that is happening because of what you're seeing related to the tax money and the COVID relief funds. But I'm happy to answer any questions. Hi, Kim.
Tammy, quick question with regards to the ridership, the passenger revenue being down. You said that SPP should help with that, but isn't the decline in passenger revenue due to the decline in ridership?
It is, so I'm sorry, I should have explained that better. So I do believe it's down due to ridership too. But sometimes we know, and I'm not saying this large amount is down due to, you know, maybe we aren't collecting some of the fares, and that's where I see SPP really plugging in and helping us because the gates will ensure that those payments are coming through. But you are right. Some of that's related to, most of it's probably related to ridership.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Ed, you're on mute.
I had another question, but it relate to the advertising revenue, but we have to hold off on that. Any additional questions for finance?
Is that something that, you know, we need to, or maybe need to ask Portia, since we deal with, you know, the budget and the numbers, I think it's something we need to discuss. So are you saying that it's something that we need to put on our next agenda?
I'm gonna try to get it on the next agenda because my question was, how were we gonna cover the lost revenue and items like that? But we can try to get it on the next agenda as the item for discussion.
Yes. I mean, arguably it does fall under the finance umbrella. So I'm not necessarily saying you need to put it on the agenda as a separate line item. However, my understanding at the end of your initial question was that you were asking how come it did not go before the Bi-State Development Board. And I don't know that is something that should be being discussed by the Public Transportation Commission.
Well, I think Deborah's question was valid in the sense that we shouldn't have read about it in the newspaper.
I
This
certainly
is something
understand
that
your
affects
concern,
us
but if the
because
question is how come it was not brought to the commission, then I think that's a fair question. Why it was not brought to the Bi-State Development Board, I do not think is a matter for the commission to discuss.
okay. Then Deborah, what we will do is formulate a question or an item to put on the next agenda so we can get an understanding on the process of this item.
Chair James, I'm happy to discuss this with you later, but again, I don't think
I
that
understand
the
what
functions
I
of
understand what you're
Bi-State
saying.
Development Board should be
Yeah,
discussed
I understand
here.
what you're saying is that
Wrong.
we should
Okay.
we can discuss it. I understand our position though.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
What Chuck was trying to say to me.
The issue was if we are asking a question based on something that is outside of our parameter, in other words, if we are wondering why we didn't get to vote on it or get to vote on the reduction, why wouldn't we include it? But that was a bi-state level decision, not a commission decision. Is that correct, Ms. Britz?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay. We will try to formulate some type of a statement or something that we can make sure that we can get a better understanding on the next, for the next meeting. Any additional finance questions? Next up is security.
Yes, we're gonna brief you on the secured platform plan. As most of you know, I think most of you are familiar with the project. This encompasses all 38 MetroLink platforms to include a 39th platform to be constructed at Mid-America Airport. Secured platforms, or SPP as we commonly refer to it, focuses on security gating, fencing, and the upgrading and reconfiguration of our closed circuit television system tied into a real-time camera center here at Central Facility. Some of you have seen the real-time camera center. It is up and operational and has been so since January of 2023. It was the first phase of SPP. It becomes the command and the control center for the gating systems going forward. In addition to SPP, there is a corresponding project led by Tom Curran to upgrade the fare collection system. So I will walk through SPP, and then Tom, I'll kind of acquiesce and allow you to provide an update on the fare collection system, if that's okay. So with secured platforms, where we sit as we begin 2024 is HNTB, nationwide engineering firm, is doing all the designs of all of the packages for secured platforms. There are 6 total packages. If we bid or treated this as one construct, it would delay the project expeditiously, and we needed to move and show tangible results as quickly as possible. So we asked HNTB to build out a cascading schedule that we think will shave time off of the end of the project. Package number 1 really is the genesis, which we're going to build on. Those are 4 platforms on the Illinois side: Jackie Joyner Kersee, Emerson Park, Washington Park, and College. That package is full design is completed, and that has been bid for construction. Millstone Weber, a large construction firm here in the St. Louis area, is doing the build out of package number 1, and that is underway as we speak. So we're currently focusing on Jackie Joyner Kersee in Washington Park. We've done clearing, we've done potholing. We're working with other utility locates, and we're beginning to clear the way for the fencing and the gating at those locations. We will then move to Emerson Park. We did not include Emerson Park right away. There is new construction going on in Emerson Park of a public safety building that is a St. Clair County Transit District project. And so although we're working with them in a simultaneous fashion, we did not want to get in the way and have too much construction going on at that location. And then the last platform to be completed in package number 1 will be College. And that is Southwestern Illinois College, located in Belleville. So Emerson Park and Washington Park Emerson Park and Washington Park will be done mid-April. Jackie Joyner Kersee, we anticipate, will actually be done late March. And College, we anticipate, will be done at the end of May or early June. While this is being constructed, package number 2, we've completed full design on package number 2, and that is Del Mar, Forest Park, Central West End, Cortex, Grand, Union Station, and Civic Center. And bid for construction of package number 2 will occur the week of January 22nd. So in a couple of weeks, we will put that on the street and bid construction. We anticipate a full build out of package number 2 by September of 2024. Package number 3 just surpassed 60% design. Package number 4 is at 30% design, and we have initiated preliminary design on packages 5 and 6. So as we bid and begin to construct package number 2, my anticipation is as we move through realizing some of the locations in package number 2, that we will bid packages 3 and 4 still on the Missouri side together. Package number 5 is an Illinois package, and package number 6 is the final Missouri package. So we have built out what we feel is a cascading schedule as we move through construction. The other subsequent packages are in design and moving in right behind it. So that's really where we are at this point. Over the next few weeks, my anticipation is that you will start seeing some significant progress with construction on the Illinois side, and that by early spring, we'll be able to offer tangible results. As we put these gating systems in, they will be fully security impactful. Initially, before we tie into the technology with the new fare collection system, the new gates are going in will be staffed with security. They will be secured through our Genetec technology, and security will check fare and proxy card patrons through the gates until the new fare collection system is integrated. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Tom to comment on the fare collection system.
Thanks, Kevin. So as we've discussed before, there's essentially 3 parts to our fare collection program. It's going to completely update how we collect fares for Metro. The first part is the creation of a backbone system for an electronic fare system that is going to be handled by a company called Mesabi. They are currently under contract with Bi-State. They will provide the validators that will be in front of the gates for Metrolink that will open the gates when valid fare is provided. They're also going to be providing the electronic validators for buses so that if you have whatever media you have that's not cash, the fare will be read by the validator on the buses. In December, we executed our contract with Indra USA for the provision of our ticket vending machines. We had a Zoom meeting with 3 representatives from Indra, and the plans are in progress for their first site visit. That's going to be on Wednesday, January 21st. Sergio Oliveros is the name of the project manager for the TVM project. And a number of folks have worked with him previously. Indra is the current provider of the TVMs that have lasted over 15 years on our system. And then Mesabi, the company that's providing our ticket validators, is in contact with Indra and our project manager so that they can begin coordinating their efforts. So for the remainder of the year, we will be working on the TVM design and fabrication with Indra, the ticket validators with Mesabi, and then the final portion of the fare collection project is going to be the new bus fare boxes. That is the third part of our project. That is not relevant to the Metrolink or SPP, but I wanted to let people know that the fare boxes are coming as well. We expect an RFP to be released in the next 60 days. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anybody has a question of Tom or Kevin? I guess I have a question more so for Kevin. On package 3 through 6, is that because most of those stations are above ground or ground level and doesn't have a secure entrance, let's say, as opposed to going underground? If I said it correctly.
So I think you are somewhat on track. The below grade stations will be much more taxing to secure. There's more considerations, but that really was not taken into account as we built out the total schedule. It was more of a flow in how the surveying at the different locations came in. We knew with a package 1, we needed to start it with a smaller package to ensure that the systems that we're putting in place, the products that we're installing will work. This is not just about putting in gates and putting up a fence. There is a significant technological integration, not only with our current communication systems in place, but also being able to position ourselves and ensure that our gating systems will adequately communicate with the new fare collection system. This is an extraordinarily complicated project. It is going to be 39 projects all wrapped into one umbrella under one title. So we moved forward with package 1 to ensure, I use the term beta test. My team does not like that. They refer to it as a genesis, the beginning, a continuation. So we'll go with that because they're a lot smarter than I am. But we need to make sure that things work. And there were, with all 4 of those locations in Illinois, there were some unique characteristics to each of those platforms that we wanted to maneuver through, learn from before we expanded. In addition to that consideration, we also knew that we were going to have to staff the first locations because of the difference in timing with the fare collection project and our project, or our hardscaping solidification. And so we wanted to start out with a first package that we knew that we could adequately staff without completely taxing our resources. We felt like moving into the core and package number 2 provided an impact through the central core of the city, provided something tangible for people to see, and that's how that was selected, if that makes sense.
Any other questions for security? Okay, thank you, Kevin and Tom. Marketing.
Good afternoon. So the last section in your binders that you have covers marketing, communications, and engagement in November. And this is the period that we look at. There were 410 mentions in the media or in just public sphere. We had a value of about $1.9 million in positive and neutral publicity. Basically what that is if we would have to go out and spend to procure for those publicity pieces, it would cost us about nearly $2 million. 79% of the sentiment is either neutral or in the positive area. Most of that relates to the approval of the BSD budget by the St. Louis County municipality, and then the new train cars, and then also Kevin Scott being out there talking about public safety as we look through those pieces there. As far as recruiting, you'll see in the marketing report that we cover a number of different pieces. With recruiting, we focus on operators and mechanics in November and building that up. As far as the Facebook pieces of it, we see that mechanics and operators are the pieces that we worked towards. All of these pieces just kind of profile our performance of how these pieces engaged. You'll see that the majority of the people are engaging on mobile phones. Our target audiences are hitting in areas where we know that we'll reach the right people that we need to be able to focus on recruiting, which is 25 to 44. That makes up a large majority of the people that we target from that perspective. You can also see kind of just the performance of each of the pieces that we do from that standpoint. Supporting Kevin in his efforts to continue on the safer ride for Metro Transit. We've worked with a number of different organizations to build digital banners that point to information about how public safety is working, and those pieces. Our print advertising is really focused on the larger thing of how Metro is needed in our region and focusing there. And then one of the newer pieces that we do is, you've heard Chuck talk about our need for recruiting and mechanics. As much as we're putting out there with operators, we need to make sure that our buses and our trains and our caller ride vehicles are out there. On this one piece, we've actually been working with an organization that helps us to geofence and retarget ads that are focused on mechanic recruiting. We do tests on various types of creative that are out there. In this situation, it's just kind of interesting to see. Our test A is an ad that actually produced better results than our test B. And it's just some of the visuals that are there. Messaging is pretty much the same, but we look at the target audiences as how we move through that. Social conquesting, it's another way that we can just take over on Facebook in different ways. And we were really focused on security being a 24/7 kind of priority for us. The delivery, we delivered about 440,000 impressions. Our click-through rate was pretty high at 1.16. And then just the comments and the reactions, about 120 people from that standpoint. We also took the option to look at the Taylor Swift movie premieres and focused on creating some awareness for Metro Transit from that perspective as well. It garnered a good target for us as well from that perspective. Our engagement, again, we're focused on where are we going to find mechanics. So we partnered with Keishi during the Metallica concerts that were happening at the Dome and did some engagement from that perspective. It was well suited for what we needed to do from the perspective of gaining some attention with our with a mechanic kind of area. The Festival of Lights that was held downtown was another piece that we put into there. So we continue to focus on our destination deals and promoting where transit is taking you, that the businesses that are around are actually on transit locations, and it just continues to help us to move that way. And then also looking at transit training that we do with our college-bound students as well as international, that continues to be a huge piece of what we do too. Anyway, I know that it's close to 5 o'clock. I don't want to continue to belabor this, but do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for marketing?
No, thank you.
Well, this isn't so much a question for marketing, but Kim, I want to thank you for sending the CMT information out, because I know in a month or two, it's going to wind up in the Marcom report. At least it gives us a heads up of what's going to be happening or coming down the pipeline. So thanks for sending that stuff.
You're welcome. Thank you for reading it.
Okay, under the new business section, already on Colorado, Mr. Stewart already gave a report basically covering this area. We had a list of new business that dealt with the location and the process in locating new bus stops and an update on the ADA accessibility. Are we ready to present that tonight, or you want to push it off, or what? No answer. I got a letter or an email from Commissioner Carter where she looked at this, I guess about a year ago next month, and she got some information. And instead of going over it tonight, what I will do is have it sent to each of the commission members and to Mr. Stewart, just so you can review it and see some of the questions and concerns that we have in terms of, one, ADA accessibility to bus stops, and two, location of bus stops. My question was totally different from Ms. Carter, but what she sent me the information is right online. Her dealt with, and I believe it dealt with mostly in the Dalewood area, but I think this is a county-wide problem or issue that needs to be addressed in terms of where are we putting bus stops?
Chair James,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Okay, are you covering is this additional information as far as 7.1 under new business?
Yeah, this is basically the information that I have heard from another commissioner on it. So table that then? Well,
This
do we
was,
have,
Ed, can I jump in? This was the question that I asked of the county department when they were talking about improvements. And I think they reported at the beginning of this meeting, they don't have those locations yet, right? That would be available at the next meeting?
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
I
there was
agree
a
with that, but-
question about in 2023 where we had located bus pads. And yeah, that's information that's still being compiled. We have to go through, because we have to enumerate all, not just for you, but for other purposes as well, all the ADA improvements that we made countywide. So, we have to review all the projects that we worked on in 2023. And I've added that to the list of data that's going to get pulled out of that. So that's what I don't have for today.
So we basically would table that until you get your report in.
Yeah, and if there's a general conversation that you want to have about ADA accessibility and things going forward, you know, that's something that I can try to answer questions if I can, but as best I can. You know, that's not something necessarily that requires data that's being collected, I guess, but
I guess the second part of that is the process of locating bus stops and how are the locations selected. And we can discuss that also once you give your report, because I think they tie into each other. But
well, yeah, we, you know, we don't locate bus stops. That's what Metro does. But when we come through with our projects, we try to accommodate where the bus stops are located.
okay. Okay. We would just put that on once you get your report on it. There's additional information that we would like to have. We will let you know at that time.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we did cover the single car service. Thank you, Mrs. Stewart, for that update. Again, we still like to have suggestions for any item that needs to be put on the agenda for future meetings. And if you note that the next meeting for February the 12th will start at 3:30 as opposed to the 4:30 normal scheduled time. Any questions?
Chairman, this is Deborah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
This meeting, CMT completed a 2023 survey that was conducted by their volunteer Metro monitors that evaluated security presence, fare inspections, and customer engagement. And I thought the results of that were pretty interesting, and perhaps you could put that on the agenda for the next meeting. And Kim, is it possible for you to provide everybody with the link to that survey?
We should be able to provide a link, I think, yes, to the Metro Monitor survey, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that you, Chair?
Yes, we can put that on as a suggestion for the future meeting or put it on for the new business next meeting. Let's put it on for new business next meeting since Kim's going to provide us with that link. Thank you.
I just have a question. So I understand, you know, the process. I really thought this was something that, you know, we could talk about today under new business. So what should really fall under new business?
Well, the thought process under the new business was basically items that we would like to discuss. And the two items that we had was basically the ADA, and found out that that will be presented at a future date once the numbers are compiled. And the location and process is basically probably will be tied to that. And I will still send out the information that I received from Commissioner Carter just to the commissioners members, just so they can see basically the type of work that was done previously on this topic. Okay.
Ms. Carter, if I could add to that, I would just point out it's not anything. It's not necessarily there's things that cannot be discussed under new business, but per the requirements of Missouri Sunshine Law, notice has to be provided. So you cannot just bring something up at a meeting and discuss it the same day.
Okay, so it was correct to ask that we do the survey at the next meeting.
Yeah, right. I totally agree with that. That's why we put it on for the next meeting. Okay. Again, the February 12th meeting will start at 3:30 as opposed to 4. Any other additions, questions, comments? If not, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Do I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor? I see a lot of hands waving, so that's all those
Aye.
opposed, none. Thank you very much. It was, to me, I think it was a very informative meeting. See you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.